conference due to injury and illness. Both, ironically enough, hailing from Arlington, Texas, just about a 4-hour drive from here in Lubbock. Your officials today, Jerry Pollack, Roger Dixon, Brett Smith. Texas Tech in their home whites controls the opening tip.
Well, if you're playing in this game is not for the weak. You better be ready for a fist fight. It's going to be a 40-minute game. Both of these teams can really defend.
Here's Kyler Edwards. First shot of the game is good. And the first points of the Big 12 regular season have been scored by Texas Tech.
You have to love what Kyler Edwards has done the last 2 games. Kind of got off the schneid there. Wasn't shooting the ball well. Had 20 in their win against Cal State Bakersfield. And right there just drives a closeout and gets to the rim.
A lot of veterans on this Oklahoma State team. 3 senior captains all starting. Lindy Waters, Thomas Tzagwa, and of course Cameron McGriff. Here's Likely, 13. He takes the shot off the mark. And a good defensive first possession for the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Baseline jumper, Holyfield.
TJ Holyfield running the floor, and Davide Moretti doing a nice job of seeing Oklahoma State not getting back in transition. They don't find the 5-man for Oklahoma State.
Here's Yorane, one of the top most improved players in the Big 12 this year. Yorane, number 14, got his shot up and gets a shot to go to the free throw line. There's Mike Boynton in his 3rd season as head man at Oklahoma State, going to be turning 38 years old on January 17th. And he's got himself not only a good head coaching resume, but also a veteran head coaching staff as well.
He's done a nice job with this ball club, and you have to think if Isaac Likely had not missed 4 games, you'd love to see what they would be record-wise, because with him they're 8-0 on the year, and such a big part of what they do. But you have to give him credit also for developing guys like Yorane. The strides he's made on the offensive end of the floor this season have been really impressive.
Ane goes 1 for 2, so the crowd here inside United Supermarkets Arena sits down. They stand until the opposing team scores their first point. Tells you a little bit about the culture here at Red Raider Nation.
Defense reigns.
And that's a tip ball out of bounds. It'll stay Red Raiders basketball with 13 on the shot clock. Chris Beard in his 4th season, 8th overall as a Division I head coach. But the story's been well told about Chris Beard. He's an itinerant head coach. Spent time in community colleges, Division II colleges, and made his way all the way to the national championship game last year in a historic run for Texas Tech.
A nice job by Yorane there of moving his feet. You have to think TJ Holyfield's going to look to attack him. They're going to look to try to get Yorane in foul trouble, something that he's struggled to do. 2 games last year against Texas Tech, he had 10 fouls.
Well, we talk about how good Texas Tech is defensively. What's their philosophy?
Well, the no middle is such a big part of what they do. They are keeping teams out of the middle, as you see Lindy Waters, a guy who went off last season here in Lubbock, get to his jump shot. But Texas Tech, they're so well connected. And Mike Boynton talked about this before the game when we talked about him. The way they help each other, the way they take charges, the culture of defending on every possession, so ingrained with what Texas Tech is doing.
Lindy Waters, career now 14 for 21 on this floor from 3-point range.
He has really played well in his career against Texas Tech. And you have to think in this league how many guys in the time where Chris Beard has been the coach have been able to have that kind of success. But you see, just sizes up Davide Moretti, the rhythm dribble, and he's going to have a size advantage. If Moretti's going to guard him, he's got 4 or 5 inches on him, so he's going to be able to shoot right over the top.
Inside, Holyfield blocked by Ane, who's one of the best shot blockers in the nation. As a matter of fact, he is 2nd in the conference in that department. That one blocked right back out of bounds by Holyfield. It'll stay Cowboys basketball.
A nice job by TJ Holyfield of getting back. And you see Isaac Likely. We talked about how he wants to push the ball. Check out this burst and the way he gets down the floor. But Holyfield stays in the play. Nice job there by Davide Moretti of making Isaac Likely score over the top of him and trusting that his help defense will be there for him.
4-4 in the early going. Nearly 3 minutes gone by. This game promising to be a bit of a rock fight. Here's another 3-point attempt. Waters, the rare miss. But an offensive rebound by Cam McGriff.
think if you ask both coaches what's going to be some of the keys to the game today, it's going to be turnovers and rebounding. You just cannot allow second chance opportunities in a game like this where both teams do such a good job of guarding their man.
And a step along the sideline, first turnover for Oklahoma State, and Chris Clark, number 44, will inbounds the ball for Chris Beard's Red Raiders, making his first appearance in the game as Davide Moretti will take a quick seat on the bench. And what an interesting story Chris Clark is, the grad transfer from Virginia Tech.
Well, he didn't take much time to announce his presence. He blew that inbounds play up. Lindy Waters ends up taking a contested shot because of it, but he's guarding Cameron McGriff, giving up some size, but a physical presence on the floor for Oklahoma State.
And the freshman, Terrence Shannon Jr. He gets to the cup, but they call the offensive foul on him, and it's going to be Oklahoma State ball.
Well, this is what Terrence Shannon loves to do. He loves the straight line drive, and you see the help defense coming over. It's a little bit different in conference play. These teams know each other so well. The scouting is at such a high level. I have to give credit for Cameron McGriff coming over and making a nice play as a help side defender.
McGriff playing in his 113th game as a Cowboy. Here's Likely, checked by Clark. Inside, McGriff. And he gets fouled, and Cam McGriff will go to the free throw line where he's shooting 91%.
Well, that's a senior being guarded by a freshman. And look at how far he had pushed Terrence Shannon up the lane. Avery Benson coming over and committing the hard foul on Cameron McGriff. But you have to think going inside for Oklahoma State going to be a huge part of their game plan today. Yorane, Cameron McGriff both have mismatches from a size perspective on the interior.
McGriff averaging 9.7 points a game, leading the team in rebounds with 6.6.
I think it's also an interesting chess match here, Rich, because yes, Oklahoma State's got the advantage on the interior, but if Texas Tech's going to go small, you can take those bigs outside. Who can flip that matchup going to be key today?
We talked about the Red Raiders defense. How about Oklahoma State's? What do they like to do?
Well, they'll mix and match some defenses. When they get in their man-to-man, a lot of the time, they'll try to take you out with their pressure. And I think they're going to have to really lock in on Jahmias Ramsey. He's such a huge part of the Texas Tech attack. Lindy Waters going to have his hands full today.
Here's Ramsey, step back. He's got a sweet stroke, but his first shot is off the mark. Here comes Likely up the right side.
His pull-up does look major league, but when you look at the numbers, his percentages drop dramatically when he puts the ball on the floor. Right there, a contested pull-up jumper.
McGriff knocks down the triple.
This is a scary matchup for Texas Tech from an opening Big 12 game perspective, because this is 5 guys for Oklahoma State who have played a lot of basketball in this league.
Well, we have a foul on the play when we come back. Oklahoma State, 9-4. This exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by 5 Hour Energy Shots. Energy on the go.
Find your rhythm. Your happy place. Find your breaking point. Then break it. Every emergency gives you a potent blend of nutrients, so you can emerge your best with Emergency.
Come one, come all, and prepare yourself for a trio of bold flavors from Taco Bell. A taco so melty, yet crunchy, for just $1 each. The $1 double stack tacos on the Cravings value menu. Value that never ceases to amaze.
As a struggling actor, I need all the breaks that I can get. At Liberty Mutual.
Cut.
Line.
Cut. Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Cut. Liberty. Am I allowed to riff? What if I come out of the water? Liberty Bibbity.
Cut. We'll dub it.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Experian Boost raised my credit score by 12 points instantly, which is insane.
So I raised my score by 21 points instantly. Awesome. Literally as soon as I pressed the button.
Boost your credit scores instantly, free, only at Experian.com/boost.
You're watching the Big 12 on ESPN. We're coming to you from Lubbock, Texas, inside a sold-out United Supermarkets Arena alongside Robbie Hummel. I'm Rich Hollenberg. Great way to tip off Big 12 conference play. Two teams that figure to be in the conversation once this season comes to a close. Oklahoma State getting off to a quick start against Texas Tech. How have they done it?
Well, I think Cameron McGriff has been a huge part of what Oklahoma State has tried to do. They've thrown the ball to him on the interior. They've also found him on the perimeter. You see him showing off the range right there. Cameron McGriff, active and aggressive early on.
McGriff, one of those three senior captains and three senior leaders in a year when so many teams are young and inexperienced, Texas Tech being one of them. Oklahoma State and Mike Boynton have the luxury of having three guys who have been through these Big 12 wars more than enough times.
Well, I think on the flip side of that, you look at Texas Tech and their roster and the turnover that they have had. You have to give so much credit to Chris Beard, because there's so many programs where they basically returned two guys who played last year. That's Davide Moretti and Kyler Edwards. And how many teams would just have to take a year or two to completely reload? But that's not been the case here in Lubbock for this season.
Some token pressure out of the free throw made by Chris Beard. Handled by the Cowboys. Here's Zagwa. His first shot is good. Thomas Zagwa had 6 triples the last time he was on this floor back in February.
Well, you cannot go under on Thomas Zagwa, and you see right there Texas Tech trying to switch, and they don't take very much time. Made basket, missed basket, does not matter. They are flying down the floor. But you see Zagwa flying off this screen, and Texas Tech late on the switch. TJ Holyfield late getting out there. Thomas Zagwa is not a guy that needs a whole lot of time. He can get it off in a hurry. And it's okay if you switch, but you got to switch as a connected unit. Usually Texas Tech is so good at that. Right there, they lose that connection. Zagwa gets a quality look.
Yeah, you talked to Mike Boynton before the game, and he says he wants to push the pace. Clearly, Chris Beard is okay doing that as well.
I think both these teams will be opportunistic. They don't necessarily play at the fastest pace in college basketball, but if it's there, these guards are going to push the tempo. And now Chris Beard going to switch some things up with a little token pressure here.
Maybe try to slow that pace down a little bit for Oklahoma State. Talked about how Lindy Waters has been a hot shooter against Texas Tech. Thomas Zagwa, 9 of his last 13 from three-point range. Here's Waters. Too strong. And a good weak side rebound by the freshman Ramsey. Texas Tech ranked 22nd in the country, down by 4. Make it 2 as Davide Moretti has his first field goal of the game.
Well, such a smart play, because Davide Moretti felt Jonathan Laurent closing out. Instead of settling for a contested jump shot, he drives the basketball and gets to his pull-up.
Chris Beard exhorting the Texas Tech faithful. Likely. Pretty drive by Isaac Likely. They call him Ice.
That was major league. The fact that the crowd gets loud and Isaac Likely goes right to the basket. See just what he brings from a dribble penetration standpoint. A big-time move by the sophomore right there.
Isaac Likely from nearby Arlington, Texas. Chris Beard telling us yesterday he actually recruited Likely when he was watching him in high school ball, so he has even more respect for him. And there's his mom, Sarah, making the 5-hour drive from Arlington to watch her son play in his first Big 12 game of his sophomore year. Here's Moretti. Again, 2 for 2 for Davide Moretti.
Well, Texas Tech getting dribble penetration, and that defense is getting sucked into the lane. We've seen a lot of defenders playing off closeouts. This crowd is electric here in Lubbock.
McGriff. Low post. Can't get it to go. Loose ball. Edwards has it. Clark gives it up.
I think Chris Clark sometimes overpasses. He needs to shoot that basketball right there. That's an unselfish play, and you have to respect that, but he's got to put that up.
Likely playing bully ball, but it's blocked by Ramsey. And a foul is called on Texas Tech. Nice defensive effort by the freshman Ramsey.
Here you see Jahmi'us Ramsey, known for his offensive exploits, but showing off the bounce right there. There's going to be no easy baskets in this game today, whether it's charges or guys blocking shots. There's some athletes on the floor, and this game just has a different feel to it, doesn't it? Conference play is a totally different animal. A big-time crowd here on hand this morning.
McGriff good on both of those. He's 4 for 4 from the free throw line, has a game high 7, and Oklahoma State has itself a 4-point lead, 12:58 to go in the Big 12 regular season opener of 2020. 67th meeting between Texas Tech and Oklahoma State. Here's Clark, leads this team in rebounds and assists. Holyfield's hot to start things off.
He can step out and shoot that. Terrence Shannon set a great screen, and Holyfield read it well. Texas Tech's motion offense getting a great look for their big man.
Just the 4th three-pointer of the year for TJ Holyfield. Another block from behind, this time by Shannon. It'll be Oklahoma State basketball.
This is what you talk about, flipping the matchup. Yorane not used to guarding a perimeter 5. Terrence Shannon setting a nice screen. And Holyfield, a guy that first 3 games of the year came out on fire. Averaged 18 points a game for those 3. But just 1 double-figure game since. Thought he played well, though, against Bakersfield. Had 8 points, 7 rebounds. Hasn't scored at the level that maybe he did earlier in the year, but playing more to his average that you saw at Stephen F. Austin.
There's Holyfield talking to the freshman Ramsey, as Jonathan Laurent will try to make 1 of 2 from the free throw line. He missed his first. He's a grad transfer from out of UMass.
A guy that I think Mike Boynton thought would really make shots at a high level. Hasn't done that yet. Led the Atlantic 10 in 3-point shooting last year.
Chance for the Red Raiders to go back on top with a bucket.
Now you see Oklahoma State switching that defense up, going a little 2-3 zone.
Ramsey for 3. First points in the Big 12 for Jahmi'us Ramsey. Texas Tech on top, too. Looking for Ane in the mid-post. That's the sweet spot for Yorane.
Well, he's got the mismatch. Texas Tech switching ball screens. You got Jahmi'us Ramsey, and how about a big-time take to the middle of the floor and then right back to the off-right hand.
Now Oklahoma State in their zone. What are they trying to accomplish?
Well, you're trying to get the ball into the middle in the short corner. They did a terrific job on the last possession of finding the short corner and then swinging the basketball. This possession a little more stagnant, but the cut by Moretti makes the play.
And they're going to get Laurent with the foul. Well, a lot of familiarities between these 2 programs. One has to do with family. A pair of Suttons in this game. We'll tell you that Sutton story when we come back.
Fantasy football is over. Sure, the guy who auto-drafted won again, but this is the playoffs. Rally your crew with B-Dubs where the beer is cold and you can hate on a friend for his stupid hat, not his fantasy team. Buffalo Wild Wings. Roar!
One play at a time. Do whatever it takes to get into the end zone.
Excuse me.
Ma?
Saquon, I made you a bowl of soup.
I don't think this is the right time.
There's always a good time for Campbell's Chunky.
Good call, Mom.
I know.
Fill it right with Campbell's Chunky, packed with hearty meat and veggies. Soup that eats like a meal.
Whatever happens out there today, remember, you have the Hilton app.
Will the Hilton app help us pick the starters?
Great question. No. But it can help you pick your room from the floor plan.
Can the Hilton app help us score?
Yeah, it's not that kind of thing, but you can score free Wi-Fi.
Can it help us win?
Hey. We're all winners with the Hilton Price Match Guarantee, all right? Man, you guys are adorable. All right, let's go lose this soccer game. Come on. Book with the Hilton app. If you find a lower rate, we match it and give you 25% off that stay. Expect better. Expect Hilton.
Every time it's been way too long. A Corona gets its line. Every time you're not related, but you're definitely family. Every time you meet from across the party. Every time all of us is all we need. And every time your favorite place is more about who than where. A Corona gets its line.
Whoa, this is awful. Try it.
Oh, no, that looks gross. What is that?
You gotta try it. It's terrible.
I don't want to try it if it's terrible.
It's like mango chutney and burnt hair.
No, thank you. I have a very sensitive palate.
Just try it!
Guys, I think we should hurry up.
If you taste something bad, you want someone else to try it. It's what you do.
I can't get the taste out of my mouth.
If you want to save 15% or more on car insurance, you switch to Geico. It's what you do.
Shh, dog.
Not even our competitor's best battery can match the power of Energizer, because Energizer Ultimate Lithium is the longest-lasting AA battery in the world. Energizer, backed by science, matched by no one.
I don't know why I love you, but I do.
Everything your trip needs for everyone you love. Expedia.
Watching for the Battle of LA or for the Beast of the East. Pelicans, Knicks, Warriors, Clippers, Friday on ESPN. Ball for all.
Back here at United Supermarkets Arena, the Big 12 opener between Oklahoma State and Texas Tech been as good as advertised, tied at 18, and these two teams know each other well, and a pair of assistant coaches know each other for their entire lives. That's Sean Sutton, who is an executive advisor to Chris Beard on the Texas Tech staff, and he looks down the court and sees his brother, Scott Sutton, who is an assistant coach for Oklahoma State, and Mike Boynton. Both are still very close. Both have deep ties to Oklahoma State, obviously with their Hall of Fame dad, Eddie Sutton, being a former head coach there. But they have coached against each other a number of times, and both told me it doesn't get any easier when they're on opposite sidelines.
Just a fascinating tie-in with the fact that Eddie Sutton being the Hall of Famer at Oklahoma State, and cool to see two siblings that have really done well in the coaching world here battling out in the Big 12.
Moretti for three. And Ane comes down with the rebound. As good a shooter as Davide Moretti has been, he's struggled lately from beyond the arc.
Well, he's shown some signs of life, but you have to think that he's only going to get better as Jamias Ramsey comes back into the lineup. It's always interesting to see how shooters react when their load is increased. And without Jamias Ramsey, he was being asked to take on a much bigger role. Now he can settle back into being a secondary scorer. You have to think the quality of his looks is only going to increase.
Yeah, he's 3 for 5 from distance in his last 2 games. Before that, he was 11 for 43 in his previous 5 games. Good hands by the Oklahoma State defense. Here comes Zagwa.
Again, Cameron McGriff getting his hand on that basketball, but that's a lesson that has to be learned. If you're playing Texas Tech, every cut is an active cut. It's a live cut to the rim, and honestly, if that's not deflected, Jamias Ramsey would have had an opportunity for a layup.
Chris Harris Jr., a 6'3 freshman out of Dallas, had it knocked out of bounds, and he's going to get subbed out for as Avery Anderson, another freshman from Texas, will check in. And those are two guys that Mike Boynton's going to kind of test the waters with as conference play begins.
Well, I think for both teams, it's going to be interesting to see how much do these benches contribute. The starting 5 or the top 6 are pretty solid with both of these groups, but after that, it's a little more of a crapshoot. Boy, they had Lindy Waters right there off the 7 cut to the rim, and Avery Anderson, the freshman, missed him.
3 on the shot clock. Waters fires, and he misses. But an offensive board by Cam McGriff. Zagwa off the dribble. I don't know if that touched the rim or not. They're saying it did not. But a foul's called under the basket.
Cameron McGriff is playing harder than anybody on the floor right now. He is making a huge impact on the offensive end with his offensive rebounding and keeping the basketball alive. You see the ball does not graze the rim. Zagwa kind of forcing one up there. But Cameron McGriff right there to keep the play on this end.
And this is where he loves the ball offensively. McGriff likes that step-back elbow jumper. He gets it back again. Kicks it out. Anderson, the freshman, for three.
Well, once again, Cameron McGriff's cut. He slips the screen and ends up sucking that defense into the paint. Avery Anderson getting a terrific look, but Cameron McGriff makes that play.
Anderson out of South Garland High School actually played some AAU ball in Texas with Jamias Ramsey of Texas Tech.
Here you're going to see Cameron McGriff setting the down screen, sees the switch, slips out of it, and that sucks in Davide Moretti. Avery Anderson ready to shoot on the weak side. Terrific offense. That's exactly what you want to see against a switching defense.
59 consecutive games started for Cameron McGriff.
Boy, Texas Tech had Chris Clark right there. A little flex cut.
There's a couple of veterans going at it, Clark and McGriff. And you wanted Clark to look to score. He did that.
That was a grown man take by Chris Clark going right at Cameron McGriff. They had him initially, but he gets the ball back in the post. And like you said, Rich, being aggressive for his own offense.
Back and forth we go. 11 minutes gone by in this one. Ten to shoot. Anderson does. Short on the three ball. Here's Clark, top of the key. Ramsey for three. Got it. Man, could he stroke it?
Just a miscommunication by Oklahoma State's defense. I think Thomas DeZagua thought they were switching, and you give a player like Jamias Ramsey that type of look, he's going to make you pay.
High arcing shot from Likely, challenged by the Tech defense. Clark lost it. 50-50 ball. And it's going to be possession arrow Oklahoma State with 8:07 to go and 21 on the shot clock.
Boy, this is a physical game. That was a really physical take by Chris Clark. Let's go back to that post up, though. Cameron McGriff is no slouch in the post, and Chris Clark going right at him through his chest. We said from the start, this is not a game for the weak. There are some physical bodies on the floor here today, and you can tell conference play has started. This has been a terrific first 12 minutes of play.
.807 to go. Texas Tech riding a 14-game home winning streak dating back to last year, but conversely, Oklahoma State's won its last 3 true road games dating back to last year. Irresistible force against the immovable object. The home dominance under Chris Beard is worth noting. Zagua created space, knocks down the triple. One of the best three-point shooters in the Big 12.
Well, Avery Anderson missed him initially. Thomas DeZagua was open for a good 2 or 3 seconds, had to yell at him to get his attention, and sometimes that takes shooters out of rhythm. DeZagua, smartly using a rhythm dribble, head fake, still gets to his three-point jumper.
That's his 207th career three-pointer made. That's 7th all-time in Oklahoma State history. 10 on the shot clock. Clark calls his own number and knocks it down. Showing the offensive game, Chris Clark.
Well, another rhythm dribble. Chris Clark loves to take one dribble and step back, and you love to see him be aggressive. I'm sure Chris Beard thrilled with the way he's playing right now.
Now Keelan Boone. Check that, Caleb Boone has checked in. The Boone twins on the roster for Mike Boynton.
He's got a mismatch. We'll see it. You know what? Cameron McGriff stared him down, and he had him initially, but Texas Tech so good at recognizing the mismatch.
Edwards off the mark. Weak side rebound to Avery Anderson. Anderson dials it up. A two-pointer for Avery Anderson, his 5th point of the afternoon.
He is a wild card for this Oklahoma State ball club. Had 16 in their loss to Minnesota, but definitely a guy that takes his own temperature and will do it early. Has a lot of ability scoring the basketball.
Played with Tyrese Maxey, that freshman star guard for Kentucky. Scored 2,700 points at South Garland High School, so we know he could fill it up.
Thomas DeZagua getting it going, and the pass was late, but does not matter. Showing off the stroke. Oklahoma State hanging in there on the road.
No pictures. No posting. This is just for us.
I wanna feel just a little, just a little, just a little. Wanna feel just a little, just a little, little bit more. Little bit more.
Norwegian Cruise Line. Feel free.
The 2 for $5 mix and match deal from McDonald's is back. Choose from some of your all-time favorites.
So good. How good.
It's time to celebrate because 2 for $5 mix and match is back.
Discover automatically matches all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year. Dollar for dollar. Millions of people a year get their cash back matched. What are you waiting for? Unlimited cash back match. Only from Discover.
We're destined for greatness.
This conference is going to be absolutely insane.
A Sonic Blockbuster season continues Tuesday at 7 on ESPN.
I'm finding it hard to stay on top of things.
A faster laptop could help. Plus, tech support to stay worry-free.
Worry-free. Boom.
Boom.
Get free next business day shipping at Office Depot, Office Max, and OfficeDepot.com.
Everyone loves Friday, but Saturday is your day. Raymore and Flanigan's Super Saturday Sale. Up to 25% off living rooms, dining rooms, bedrooms, and home decor. Queen mattress sets start at just $3.99 with an incredible 60 months no interest. Surround yourself with furniture you love. Super Saturday going on now at Raymore and Flanigan.
2, 3.
Welcome home. Because with Zillow Home Loans, it's now easier to get pre-approved. So you can buy and get into a home you'll love.
John Brickley with a studio update in the Big Ten. Maryland having lost 2 of 3 hosting Indiana. Devontae Green with the made 3, his first of the game. This one has been a tight battle in the first half, tied up at 16 with under 7 minutes to go in the first half. In the Big East, number 11 Butler with a comfortable lead on Creighton by 10, under 6 to go in the first half. Rich and Robbie, back to you.
Thanks, fellas. Unfortunately, due to some technical difficulties, we couldn't hear what they were saying here at United Supermarket. Either that or it's just so darn loud in this building. Regardless, let's talk about that AP Top 25. 6 teams in the Big 12 represented, but the Big 12 right behind them. And I think it's worth noting, Robbie, that the ACC and the Big 10 have a lot more teams in their leagues than the Big 12 does.
Well, definitely. And I think if you look at the Big 12 conference right now, you have to think the top tier of Kansas, Baylor, and West Virginia is pretty established. Now, I think both these teams, Oklahoma State and Texas Tech, are in that tier 2, but they easily can move into tier 1. They've had some injuries that have kind of derailed their seasons. Or not derailed, but maybe cost them some games here early that they otherwise would have had a better opportunity with Isaac Likely and Jamias Ramsey.
Sure. Losses by Texas Tech to Iowa, Creighton, and DePaul, but both of those games were in overtime. And 3 losses for Oklahoma State to Georgetown, Wichita State, and Minnesota. Again, not resume killers by any stretch.
Not at all. And those are big-time, high-major opponents.
Tonight at 8 Eastern on ESPN, we'll have the first ACC matchup of 2020. Number 2 Duke and Miami. The Blue Devils 20-7 all-time against the Hurricanes. But the last 8 years, it's been an even match. 5-5 between the Blue Devils and the Canes. Saturday Showcase presented by 5 Hour Energy from South Beach. Here in Lubbock, it's a 1-point game. 22nd ranked Texas Tech, 27 Oklahoma State, 26. The Big 12 conference opener for both. McGriff tries for 3. Can't get it this time. Rebound to Chris Clark. Moretti. Off the mark on the 3. Gets the ball back. No foul called. And Ramsey with a pull-up jumper along the baseline.
You've got to give so much credit to T.J. Holyfield. He kept that play alive with the tip out, and you love the way he's played. He hasn't scored the ball, but he's made winning plays for Texas Tech.
And another unforced error from the Oklahoma State Cowboys.
But to me, that's almost the biggest difference in the three-point line moving back, is that your space is taken away in the corner. These guys are so used to having more room in those tight corners, and in the NBA, when you get there, it's even tighter. But you see a lot of guys with their heels on the line, and that's exactly what happened to Cameron McGriff.
It's interesting. The distance, about 1.5 feet, give or take, doesn't really matter that much.
I know, but it's for whatever reason, guys love to hug that line, and certainly an adjustment.
Here's Moretti. Off the mark. Oklahoma State can tie it up with a triple. It's been a close contest throughout. Largest lead of this game has been 7. And that's going to be another Texas Tech foul. This one going on Terrence Shannon Jr. And that's his 3rd. And that's one to keep an eye on for Chris Beard, relying a lot on this freshman in terms of minutes played.
Well, they're not a deep team, so foul trouble certainly will be an issue. You have to give Texas Tech a lot of credit, though, on the job that they've done on Isaac Likely. They have really limited him. Just 2 points, 1 of 5 from the field. You wonder about Likely's maybe conditioning right now, coming back from illness. He did play in their win against Southeast Louisiana, but still, it's a different deal when conference play starts.
Just 2 points and 2 assists for Isaac Likely so far, and yet Oklahoma State only finds themselves down 3 on the road. Speaking of threes, there's number 3, gives it up to Holyfield. 7 to shoot for the Red Raiders. Ramsey short on the 3. Here's Likely. Harris gets it back. No good. Nice save by McGriff, giving new life to the Cowboys offense.
He has played so hard today, and just his job on the offensive glass.
That one taken away by Ramsey. Holyfield from the wing for 3.
You have got to give Tyler Edwards major props on that play. A terrific back cut. The defense goes with the cover to the rim, and T.J. Holyfield wide open.
Holyfield with 11 first-half points to lead all scorers. Dzagwa can't get the floater to go, and Holyfield has the rebound.
Great closeout by Davide Moretti. You're running a shooter off the line. Really smart knowing the scouting report there.
Largest lead of the game for the Red Raiders. They're on their feet in Lubbock. The 22-ranked Texas Tech team up by 8. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball. And by Domino's. Order online and track your order.
Do you have butter lettuce over there? Yeah. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Thank
you so much.
You bet.
Okay.
Just try a little bit here.
Hey, Jay, can you grab that?
We'll get right on it.
Thank you. I know how much you guys love tomatoes, so I have stories to tell you about.
Great riches will find you when Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance, so you only pay for what you need.
Wow, thanks, Voltar. How can I ever repay you?
Maybe you could free Zoltar? Thanks, lady. Taxi! Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Fantasy football is over. Sure, you stole your friend's picks. You even called Kevin a clown. Kevin's not a clown. He's your friend. Meet him at B-Dubs for the playoffs and call Kevin a clown to his face. Buffalo Wild Wings. Roar!
Every time a vacation day interrupts a workday. a Corona gets its lime. Every time your favorite getaway is a block away. Every time you find some friends and get lost. Every time a night takes you away, and every time the last thing you want to do is leave. A Corona gets its lime.
Resolution you'll actually keep. Straighten your teeth 3 times sooner than traditional braces. Go from this to this. Or this to this. Join over 500,000 satisfied grinners. 95% of club members keep their new Smile resolution. Start your new Smile resolution for free at SmileDirectClub.com.
E-Trade halftime report coming up. We'll look ahead to some of the notable games on the Saturday slate, including West Virginia and Kansas coming up in the 4 o'clock hour on ESPN+. But, Chris, what was once thought to be a track meet has seen Texas Tech now just stretch the lead.
They put so much pressure on you because of how unselfish they are. They have 8 assists. They're unlike you two guys. They actually share the ball, and it's forced Oklahoma State to have to guard.
I'm going to chuck now, too, then. I'm playing in my scouting report right there. This is a veteran team in Oklahoma State that guards at a high level. They're not doing that right now. Too many miscommunications, too many fundamental mistakes. Too easy for Texas.
All right, we'll see you coming up at the half.
Thanks, Brick. You get at least one good Spatola dig in there when he's in the studio. I love it. Back here in Lubbock.
I don't believe that Dallin is a selfish player. Come on.
Texas Tech up 8, their largest lead of the game. Loose ball, who wants it? And it's out of bounds, and it's going to be Tech basketball. Wild Card Weekend starts with our game on ESPN and ABC today at 4:35 Eastern Time. Josh Allen and the Bills take on Deshaun Watson and the Texans from NRG Stadium. Coverage starts with postseason NFL Countdown at 3 Eastern, and both are live on the ESPN app. Great time of year with college basketball conference play starting and the NFL playoffs starting at the same time. Here's Clark. Almost had a chance at a three-point play, and Chris Clark will go to the line and shoot a pair.
That is textbook zone offense right there. Move the basketball, find the passer in the short corner, and look at how Chris Clark just kind of navigates the middle of that zone. Doesn't get it to fall, but does a nice job of operating in that area. Right now, Oklahoma State does not have an answer for Texas Tech, man or zone. They have struggled to guard over the last 4 minutes.
Clark, just a 65% free throw shooter, knocks the first one down. Mike Boynton likes to switch things up on defense a lot as we see TJ Holyfield, the game-high scorer with 11 points, going to the bench for a quick breather here with 2:22 to go in the first half.
He's given great minutes today on both ends, whether it's making shots, affecting the game on the defensive end of the floor. He has been active, and that's the version of TJ Holyfield that Chris Beard needs for this team to maybe move into that top tier in the Big 12.
Most points for Holyfield already since the third game of the season when he had a season-high 21. Here's Waters. He's been quiet, but there he gets the bucket from close range, and Lindy Waters has 5 points.
Well, I love that he took a freshman in Jamias Ramsey and took him right to the rim, used his size, and went right over the top.
Here's Clark. The quintessential point forward for Chris Beard. Off to Savrasov. Off the mark on his first 3 attempts. Here's Waters. He's got that kind of range. You have to check him that far out. So does Zagua, but he's off on that three-point attempt.
Boy, Texas Tech lucky. I think they were a little confused on what defense they were in, and they end up leaving one of the elite shooters in this league wide open.
Look at the ball movement from the Red Raiders. Doesn't pay off in a bucket. 17 to shoot.
Isaac Likely, great hands, because that was going to be a drive and another paint touch for Texas Tech.
Now a minute to go, 8 on the shot clock. Clark Off to the right. McGriff the rebound and a foul.
Definitely should have driven that basketball. I'm not saying he can't make that, but you run a pick and pop action for Chris Clark, and he's got so much space to operate. Now you can score, you can facilitate. To me, that's bailing out Oklahoma State in their pick and roll coverage.
So the Red Raiders will go to the line and shoot 1-1. They're second in the conference from the free throw line. Shooting it as a team is 76%. But Oklahoma State with Cam McGriff at the line, they also shoot it well. They're 74% as a team. McGriff with the first. He has 8. Make it 9 for Cam McGriff. And we've got ourselves a 2-possession ball game. Under a minute to go in the first half of the first Big 12 regular season conference game of 2020. Swinging around, here's Holyfield. Ramsey. Man, he can rise up and release, but off the mark on that one.
That ball is moving for Texas Tech. Give credit to Oklahoma State there for bending but not breaking and forcing a tough contested pull-up jumper.
4-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. 20 seconds to go in the first half. Three on the shot clock. McGriff pulls up. Too strong. 5 seconds to go in the half. Moretti's going to have a shot. Instead, he passed it up, and not enough time left for TJ Holyfield to get the shot off. But what